Chosen one, the wait is over. God is calling you now. Chosen one, if you are here, it is no accident. God has led you to this moment, to this message, because something profound is about to unfold in your life. The waiting is over. What you have been praying for, longing for, and believing for, it is time. The doors that once seemed shut are now opening before you. The path that once felt uncertain is now being illuminated by the divine light of God's perfect will. You have been tested, refined, and prepared for such a time as this. Every hardship, every tear, every moment of loneliness was not for nothing. You have endured the trials of life with unwavering faith. And now, God is calling you into the next chapter of your destiny. This is not an ordinary moment. This is a divine appointment. The road has been long, but the reward is near. There have been moments when you felt forgotten, when you questioned whether God was listening to your prayers. But I tell you this, God has never left your side. Every delay, every obstacle, every moment of uncertainty was orchestrated to prepare you, to strengthen you, to mold you into the warrior He has called you to be. You were never meant for an ordinary life. You were meant to walk in divine favor, in supernatural provision, in the fullness of your calling. Many are called, but few are chosen. You are one of the few. You have stood firm when others wavered. You have walked in faith when others walked away. And because of your faithfulness, God is about to do something in your life that will leave no doubt. He is with you. He has been guiding you all along. The time of waiting is over. The time of revelation has come. This is your moment of divine transition. You are not just leaving behind the struggles of your past, you are stepping into a new reality. God is shifting things in your favor. What once seemed impossible is now within reach. The people who doubted you, the ones who dismissed you, they will soon see that you were never alone. God was always working behind the scenes, aligning everything for your breakthrough. You have been set apart. You have been chosen for something greater than you can imagine. And now, the doors of destiny are swinging open before you. Do you feel it? That stirring deep within your soul? That sense that something is shifting? That is the Spirit of God moving in your life. It is the confirmation that your breakthrough is near. You are not imagining it. You are not overthinking it. The divine alignment is happening. Right now, in this very moment. But there is one thing you must do. You must let go of doubt. You must let go of fear. You must step forward in faith, knowing that God has already prepared the way. No more waiting. No more questioning. No more second guessing. This is your moment. This is your time. Chosen one, are you ready? For too long, you have carried the weight of your past. The disappointments, the failures, the betrayals, they have been heavy burdens upon your soul. But hear me now. God is lifting that weight from you. He is breaking the chains that have held you back. Isaiah chapter 43, 18-19 says, "Forget the former things, do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up, do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland." This is your new beginning. You are not defined by what you have been through. You are defined by the calling upon your life. God is not finished with you. In fact, He is just getting started. You have walked through the fire. And yet, you are still standing. You have faced the storm. And yet, you have not been destroyed. That is because God has placed something within you that cannot be shaken. You are unbreakable. You are unstoppable. You are chosen. And now, the time has come to rise. No more delay. No more waiting. No more wondering if you are worthy. God has already called you. The anointing is already upon you. The favor is already yours. It is time to step into it. But I must warn you. Not everyone will understand this transformation. Some will question it. Some will doubt it. Some may even mock it. But you must not let that shake you. Remember, Jesus Himself was rejected by those who should have recognized Him. He was despised, ridiculed, and even betrayed. Yet, He never wavered in His purpose. Matthew chapter 5, 10-12 reminds us, "Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when people insult you, persecute you and falsely say all kinds of evil against you because of me. Rejoice and be glad, because great is your reward in heaven. Do not be discouraged by the rejection of men. God's approval is all that matters. You are not here to fit in. You are here to stand out. You are not here to please people. You are here to fulfill a divine mission. And because of that, you must be prepared for the opposition. The enemy does not attack those who are not a threat. The fact that you have faced so much resistance is proof that you are carrying something powerful within you. Chosen one, hear me. You were born for such a time as this. You were not placed on this earth by accident. Your existence is intentional. Your purpose is divine. Your calling is undeniable. And now, the moment you have been waiting for is here. Will you step into it? Will you embrace the destiny that God has laid before you? Or will you allow fear to hold you back? No, that is not who you are. That is not what you were created for. You are meant to rise. You are meant to lead. You are meant to walk boldly in the purpose God has placed upon your life. This is your divine confirmation. If you have been asking God for a sign, this is it. If you have been waiting for a word, this is it. The time of waiting is over. The time of action is now. Hit that like button if you receive this message. Type 777 in the comments. This number is a sign of divine completion, a confirmation that the cycle of waiting is ending, and the season of fulfillment has begun. Subscribe now so you never miss another divine revelation. Because, chosen one, your journey is only just beginning. Chosen one, you have felt it, that quiet whisper in your soul. The subtle yet undeniable shift in the atmosphere around you. The sense that something is moving. That change is near. It is not your imagination. It is not wishful thinking. It is the divine hand of God aligning your path, orchestrating what has been set in motion long before you ever knew you had a calling. For too long, you have been waiting for clarity, waiting for direction, waiting for a sign that everything you have endured has not been in vain. The truth is, the waiting was never about delay. It was about preparation. Every unanswered prayer, every season of silence, every moment of uncertainty was refining you, shaping you, strengthening you for this very moment. You were never forgotten. You were never abandoned. God was working, even when you could not see it. And now, the veil is being lifted. The puzzle pieces are falling into place. The revelation is coming, and it will shake the very foundation of your understanding. The enemy tried to break you. He used isolation, rejection, and hardship to convince you that you were alone. He whispered lies into your ear, telling you that you were not enough, that your time had passed, that God had turned his face away. But those were the words of deception. The truth is this: God has been with you every step of the way, even in the silence, even in the struggle, even in the wilderness. And now, the wilderness is ending. The time of wandering is over. The season of uncertainty is closing. God is leading you into a new reality, a new level of understanding, a new depth of connection with him. But before you step into this next chapter, there is something you must understand. Not everyone will go with you. You have been feeling it. The distance growing between you and certain people. The friendships that no longer feel aligned. The relationships that seem to be fading without explanation. This is not a coincidence. This is divine separation. God is removing distractions. He is stripping away everything that no longer serves your purpose. The people who doubted you, who drained your energy, who could not see the vision God placed inside of you, they cannot go where you are going. This is not a punishment. This is protection. Look at Abraham. When God called him into the promised land, he told him to leave his homeland, his family, everything familiar. It was not because those people were evil, but because they were not part of the next stage of his journey. Some connections are only meant for a season, and when that season ends, holding on will only delay what God has in store for you. Let them go. The ones who walked away, the ones who betrayed you, the ones who could not understand your calling. Release them. You are not meant to convince them. You are not meant to carry them. Your assignment is bigger than their approval. You see, being chosen is not about being liked. It is about being set apart. It is about carrying a weight that not everyone can understand. Think of Joseph. His own brothers sold him into slavery. They hated him, not because he did anything wrong, but because of the favor upon his life. He suffered years of betrayal and hardship. Yet in the end, he rose to a position of power that only God could have orchestrated. Your journey is no different. The pain, the rejection, the isolation, it was never about breaking you. It was about elevating you. About teaching you to rely not on people, not on validation, not on the approval of the world, but on God alone. Do you understand what is happening? You are being positioned. You are being prepared. You are being called into something greater. But with every new level comes a new level of refinement. There are things in you that must die before you can step into what God has planned. Old mindsets, old habits, old fears, They cannot come with you. The version of you that existed in the last season is not the version that will inherit the promise. That is why this process has been painful. That is why it has felt like loss. But in reality, it is transformation. The breaking is necessary for the rebuilding. And when God rebuilds, He does not restore you to what you were. He makes you something entirely new. Behold, I am doing a new thing, now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it? Isaiah chapter 43, 1-9. This is what is happening now. The shift is not coming. It is here. And those who have eyes to see, those who have ears to hear, they will recognize it, they will step into it, they will embrace it. But those who resist, those who cling to the past, those who refuse to let go, they will miss it. Do not be one of them. Do not allow fear to keep you bound to a reality that no longer serves you. The time of hesitation is over. The time of second guessing is done. Either you step into what God has for you, or you remain where you are. The choice is yours. But know this, God's will is moving forward, with or without your participation. The question is, will you align with it? Will you surrender to it? Will you embrace the unknown, trusting that what lies ahead is far greater than anything you leave behind? This is your moment. Everything has led to this. Chosen one, do you feel it? Do you understand the magnitude of what is unfolding? You were never just existing. You were never just passing time. You were never forgotten. You were being prepared. And now, the doors are opening. The chains are breaking. The calling is being revealed. What once felt distant is now at your fingertips. Step into it. Chosen one, you have felt the shift. You have sensed the change in the atmosphere. There is no denying it now. God is moving in your life. The weight of the past, the burdens that once seemed immovable, they are breaking apart. The veil is lifting. The truth is being revealed. But with revelation comes responsibility. You are no longer who you were. The version of you that once doubted, once hesitated, once sought the approval of others, that version is gone. It had to die so that the true you could emerge. The you that God designed before the foundation of the world. The you that carries divine authority, divine wisdom, and divine purpose. It is time to step fully into your calling. No more questioning. No more waiting. No more searching for confirmation. This is your confirmation. God has been preparing you for this moment. And now, the doors are opening. But before you step through them, before you embrace what has been set aside for you, you must understand one thing. There is no going back. Once you awaken, you cannot unsee the truth. Once you step forward in faith, you cannot return to the comfort of ignorance. And you wouldn't want to. Because what lies ahead is greater than anything you have ever known. But not everyone will understand. There will be those who question your journey. There will be those who try to pull you back, to keep you in the version of yourself that made them comfortable. But you must not let them. Look at Jesus. Even his own people rejected him. Even those who had known him since childhood could not accept the transformation before their eyes. They saw the carpenter's son, not the Messiah. They saw the man, not the divinity. And because of their doubt, their unbelief, they missed the miracle. Do not let that be your story. Do not allow the doubt of others to shake your faith. Do not allow their blindness to dim your vision. You have seen too much. You have experienced too much. You know the truth. You know that God's hand is on your life. You know that you have been called to something greater. And now, the choice is before you. Step forward into the unknown, or retreat into the familiar. Which will it be? I already know your answer. You would not be here if you were meant to stay where you were. You would not be hearing this message if God had not already chosen you for more. You are not just another person moving through life without direction. You are chosen. You are set apart. And now, you are being activated. What does this mean? It means the things that once satisfied you no longer will. The conversations that once interested you will now feel empty. The places that once felt comfortable will now feel foreign. Because you are changing. Your spirit is shifting. Your mind is being renewed. Romans chapter 12:2 tells us, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." That is what is happening. You are no longer conforming. You are no longer fitting into the mold of this world. You are transforming. And transformation is not comfortable. It is not easy. It is not without cost. But it is worth it. Because where God is taking you, you cannot bring the old version of yourself. The fears that once controlled you, they must go. The insecurities that once held you back, they must be left behind. The relationships that no longer align with your purpose, they must be released. I know it is painful. I know it feels like loss. But what you are losing cannot compare to what you are about to gain. The disciples had to leave everything behind to follow Jesus. Their homes, their families, their careers. They walked away from everything they knew to walk into everything God had prepared for them. And not one of them regretted it. Because what they received in return was greater than anything they left behind. The same is true for you. You are walking into something greater. But first, you must let go. Let go of the fear. Let go of the doubt. Let go of the need to understand everything before you take the first step. Faith is not about seeing. It is about trusting. Abraham did not see the promised land before he left his home. He simply trusted that it was there. Moses did not see the Red Sea part before he stepped forward. He simply believed that God would make a way. David did not see victory before he faced Goliath. He simply knew that God had already won the battle. Now, it is your turn. You may not see the full picture. You may not know every detail of what lies ahead. But you know God. And that is enough. That has always been enough. Because He is the one leading you. He is the one guiding your steps. And He is the one who will ensure that you reach the destiny He has prepared for you. So take the step. Even if it feels uncertain. Even if it feels uncomfortable. Even if it feels impossible. Because the truth is, it is only impossible in human eyes. But with God, all things are possible. This is your moment. Everything has led to this. The struggles, the setbacks, the delays, they were never obstacles. They were preparation. You were being refined. You were being strengthened. You were being positioned. And now, the time has come. You are no longer waiting. You are walking forward. You are stepping into the unknown. Fully trusting that God is already there. Waiting for you. This is your divine invitation. The door has been opened. Now, walk through it. Chosen one. Can you feel it? The weight that once held you down. It's lifting. The confusion that once clouded your mind. It's clearing. The fear that once whispered lies into your heart. It's losing its power. Because God has spoken. Because God has moved. Because God has chosen you. You are not just another soul wandering through life. You are not here by accident. You are not lost. You are being led. Led by a force greater than you can comprehend. Led by a will stronger than your doubts. Led by a love that will not let you go. And now, the moment of revelation is here. Everything is about to change. You have waited. You have prayed. You have fought battles that no one else knew about. You have stood when everything around you was falling apart. And now, God is saying, it's time. Time for what? Time to step forward. Time to walk through the doors that have been opened before you. Time to leave behind everything that was never meant for you. This is your moment of divine separation. You are not the same person you were before. The things that once satisfied you, they no longer do. The conversations that once engaged you, they now feel empty. The distractions that once consumed you, they have lost their appeal. Because God has set you apart. You are shifting from what was to what will be. From who you were to who you are becoming. But listen carefully. Not everyone can come with you. There are people, places, and habits that have been part of your journey until now. But they cannot cross into this new season with you. Not because they are bad. Not because they are evil. But because their role in your story has come to an end. Just as Lot's wife turned back and lost everything. You must be careful not to look back. You cannot afford to hold on to the past when God is calling you forward. You must release the relationships that drain you. You must walk away from the environments that keep you stuck. You must let go of the mindset that tells you you are not enough. Because the truth is, you are more than enough. God has already equipped you for this journey. He has already strengthened you for this battle. He has already paved the way for your destiny. But you must be willing to move. Do you remember Elijah? When God called him to the next phase of his mission, He told him to go forward. Elijah had to walk into the unknown, trusting that provision would be there. And every step he took, God provided. Through the ravens, through the widow, through the miracles that followed. Elijah's story teaches us a simple but powerful truth. Provision follows obedience. God will not show you everything at once. But as you take each step in faith, the next step will be revealed. The resources you need will appear. The right people will enter your life. The opportunities will unfold in ways you never imagined. But you must step forward first. And you must leave behind what no longer serves you. I know it's hard. I know it feels like loss. But what you are losing is nothing compared to what God is bringing into your life. You are entering a new level. A level of clarity. a level of purpose, a level of supernatural favor. And with new levels come new battles. This is why you have felt so much pressure lately. This is why the warfare has increased. The enemy has sensed the shift before you did, and he is desperate to keep you where you are. But you will not stay. You were never meant to stay in the wilderness. The wilderness was your training ground, not your final destination. Moses led the Israelites out of Egypt, but not all of them made it to the promised land. Not because God didn't intend for them to, but because they refused to let go of their past. They longed for Egypt even though it enslaved them. They wanted comfort even at the cost of their destiny. And because of that, they remained in the desert far longer than they were meant to. Chosen one, do not make the same mistake. God is calling you forward. Do not resist. Do not hesitate. Do not let the fear of the unknown keep you bound to a past that was never meant to hold you. This is your moment. The shift is happening now. The transformation is unfolding now. You have been set apart. You have been chosen. And the time to walk into your destiny is now. Chosen one, do you feel the weight of this moment? Everything you have been through. Every battle you have fought. Every tear you have cried. It was leading to this. This is not just another season. This is not just another transition. This is the moment when everything changes. You have waited. You have endured. You have remained faithful even when it felt like nothing was happening. Even when the doors remained shut. Even when the answers didn't come. Even when it seemed like God was silent. You still held on. And now, He is speaking. Now, He is moving. Now, He is revealing what has been hidden. The prayers you thought went unheard. God heard them. The moments when you thought you were alone. God was there. The struggles that felt endless. They were never in vain. Everything was leading to this point. But before you move forward, before you step fully into what God is preparing, you must understand this. There can be no turning back. What is behind you is over. What is ahead of you is divine. Do you remember when Jesus called Peter out onto the water? Peter saw the storm, the waves, the impossibility of it all. But Jesus said, "Come." And for a moment, Peter walked on water. He did the impossible. He stepped into the supernatural. But the moment he looked back at the waves, the moment he let fear creep in, the moment he questioned what was happening, he began to sink. Do not look back. Do not let fear convince you that you are not ready. Do not let doubt whisper that you are not enough. You are not walking into this new season by your own strength. God is leading you. And where He leads, He provides. Where He calls, He equips. Where He sends, He protects. This is why the distractions have been increasing. This is why the enemy has been whispering lies, trying to pull you back into old patterns, old fears, old cycles. Because he knows, if you fully step into this calling, if you fully embrace this transformation, if you fully surrender to what God is doing, nothing will be able to stop you. You have come too far to quit now. You have fought too hard to give up now. You have been refined, purified, strengthened for such a time as this. And now, the choice is before you. Do you step forward into the unknown, trusting that God has already gone ahead of you? Or do you shrink back, allowing fear to keep you bound to what is familiar? I already know your answer. You are not here by accident. You are not hearing this by coincidence. You are here because you are chosen. You are here because God is calling you higher. You are here because your time is now. Chosen one, walk forward. Do not hesitate. Do not question. Do not let fear hold you back. What is ahead of you is greater than anything you are leaving behind. The door has been opened. Now step through it. Chosen one, this is it. The moment you have been preparing for. The moment that was written before you were even born. The moment that shifts everything. You have been through the fire, but you were not consumed. You have been through the storm, but you did not drown. You have been through the valley, but you did not lose your way. Why? Because you were never walking alone. Every step, every struggle, every silent prayer, God was there. Even in the moments when you felt forgotten. Even in the seasons when nothing made sense. Even when the world told you to give up. God never left you. He was preparing you. He was strengthening you. He was positioning you for this very moment. And now, the waiting is over. You are stepping into everything that has been set aside for you. This is your moment of ascension. Everything you have endured was not to break you, but to build you. Everything you lost was not taken from you, but cleared from your path so that you could receive what was truly meant for you. Everything that hurt you was not meant to destroy you, but to refine you. You are not the same person you were before. The old you would have hesitated. The old you would have questioned. The old you would have tried to hold on to what was already gone. But that version of you no longer exists. You have been transformed. You have been reborn. You are no longer who the world said you were. You are who God says you are. Chosen, set apart, called for a divine purpose. And now, nothing can hold you back. The chains are broken. The fear is gone. The distractions have been removed. All that remains is you and your destiny. All that remains is God's plan unfolding before your very eyes. Do you feel it? Do you sense the shift? Do you understand what is happening? This is not just another chapter. This is the beginning of something eternal. Everything is changing. And this time, there is no going back. You have crossed the threshold. You have stepped into the unknown. You have walked through the door that God has opened. And now, there is only one thing left to do. Rise. Rise into the fullness of who you were created to be. Rise into the purpose that has been waiting for you. Rise into the life that was always meant for you. This is your destiny. This is your divine confirmation. This is your moment. Chosen one, rise.